What is going on, guys? It is your boy By2K, and today, man, I'm going to be doing a series that has been highly requested by you guys, and that is going to be an I Rate Your Team series. Now, before we get into this, let me clarify this now. I know DBG does this, I know YBC does this, and I know a few other YouTubers do this, and that is specifically why I've held off on doing this series for such a long time. But I put up a poll last night of whether or not you guys wanted to see it, and a lot of you guys were voting yes. You guys ask for it on streams all the time, you guys tweet me your teams all the time, so I'm just gonna do it. If you guys do enjoy the series and want this to continue, let's try to get this video to like 200 likes, and I will obviously continue doing this probably every 4 or 5 days or whatever. Try to give you guys it maybe like 2 times a week, whatever the case may be. So if you guys do enjoy it, like I said, just hit that like button for your boy. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. And also, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, be sure to do so. The link to that is down below in the description. That is where I'm going to be rating teams from and stuff like that, so be sure to do that so you guys can obviously get your teams rated and stuff like that. And yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into it. If you would like cheap and reliable MT, be sure to head over to NBA2King.com. Use code BIO2K for 5% off your final order. So you guys can see here, this is the tweet that I did put out. Comment under this tweet a picture of your team to be rated for a video. Include what kind of play style you use so I can give you tips based around that. Basically saying, I want you guys to give me a picture of your team and also let me know what your play style is. So like I said, I can tell you guys what I think would be a good fit for you, not really just a good fit in general. So with that being said, let's get into the teams. First one up is going to be Top Shmoney. You guys can see the @ in the top right corner of the screen. He's got obviously a very solid team. Easily, I'm thinking like a 9.5 ready. Truthfully, the only reason why it's not a 10 yet is because you don't have T-Mac. I think if you honestly were to get rid of maybe Granger, put T-Mac in that position, I truly think you would be actually unstoppable with this team. As long as you had a proper, defensive scheme kind of in the game, I think you'd actually be really fine. So definitely going to give this one like a 9.5. Honestly, only suggestions I would say is to replace Granger with a guy like T-Mac. You have the MT for it, especially after you sell Granger. And yeah, that would be the suggestion for this one. Next up, we do have my boy Hurricane. You guys can see his nice little team here. He's got a good budget team. I see Kobe, and instantly because I see Kobe, I'm giving this team an 8, like right off the bat. Obviously, my man Kobe is a GOAT. Taking a look at the rest of the team, though, it is pretty good for a budget team. Best thing I would recommend to do here, though, is putting Cam Reddish off the bench next to Kobe. So this way you can run a lineup of Turkoglu, Kobe, Cam, Michael Beasley, and Hakeem off the bench. Nice balance all around right there. And then in the starting 5, what I would honestly do is get rid of Batum, put Worthy at the 3, and then pick up a guy like Andrea Karolinko for the 4. Somebody like that that's more of a stretch big, kind of plays very nicely in that starting 5. Everything else, though, is pretty solid. You got good defense all around and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to give this team probably as a final rating an 8.5. Just make sure that you replace Batum. And other than that, man, the team's pretty solid. Next up, we do have John Alvarez 82. Says he tries to focus on defense and threes, kind of 3 and D players, which I do like. Definitely like that play style. As far as his team goes, the starting 5 is definitely good. Off the bench, taking a look at it, honestly, I don't really know who you run where, but off the bench right away, I'm thinking running a lineup of Magic, having Zach LaVine obviously at the 2, PG at the 3, Josh Smith, and then Dwight Howard. That would be by far the best little lineup that you guys that you can run. I keep saying you guys, and I do apologize about that. I'm just used to a majority of people, not just one person individually. Outside of that, though, the team is very good. You definitely have a nice defensive minded team. Really no exceptions need to be made. The only thing is, if you really wanted to make a big splash and make a big upgrade, I would look to sell Melo and actually pick up Lamar Odom. That would make the starting lineup basically flawless. You would have defense literally everywhere, have guys with really glitchy animations, really glitchy jump shots, and you'd be kind of chilling there. So honestly, I'm gonna give this team same thing, a 9.5. Or actually, I lied, I'm gonna give this one a 10 because he does have my boy T-Mac in that starting 5. Next up, we do have my boy Jalen over here. Real quick, thank you for the shout out on the new haircut. I appreciate it. But after looking at his team, kind of looking at how his play style is, he's a big pick and roll kind of guy with the Hawks 2018. So he does like running that whole 5-out pick and roll kind of cheesy little offense. Starting lineup obviously is perfectly fine. No adjustments need to be made there. Taking a look at the MT total and stuff like that, I could, with the bench, you're going to kind of have to work on a little bit more of a budget, I guess. But Draymond is perfectly fine. Walter Davis is nice. It's like a 1 and 2 sort of thing because you do have like the peekaboo guy you can run with, and then you do have a nice defensive minded point guard. That can definitely obviously battle taller, point guards. Kiki, I think, is good at the 3. Jonathan Isaac is cool. If you kind of wanted to make like a dual big man lineup off the bench, a guy like Eddie Curry would fit perfectly in that 4 spot. And then outside of that, though, Divac is cool. If you wanted to make the upgrade to Boogie, I would do that personally. But if Divock works for you, obviously people have their different play styles and preferences. Me personally, I would run Boogie over Divock, but Divock is still very solid as well. So if the team's working for you, you said that you're 7-0, I would stick with it. Overall, though, I would definitely give this team like a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10. Again, the only weakness is not having T-Mac. Next up, we do have my boy Nate Andrews 245. He says he runs a hardcore 5 out and shoots a lot of threes. So taking a look at the team already, man, you're obviously chilling. You already have Glenn. My man already has Glenn. My man already went 12-0. He hit that Kobe grind. So honestly, man, I'm looking at this team. I think it's honestly perfectly fine. I don't even think you need to run a different team because you do have your taller point guards. You got your shooting guards on lockdown. You got your, you got your small forwards in check. I mean, Granger, 8K, Lamar Odom, all interchangeable. You have Worthy down there too if you need to run that small ball. You got a nice little dual center thing in the starting 5. This team is easily a 10 out of 10. Next up, we do have my boy V Mello J. If you were to slide probably Beasley to the bench, get rid of Hachimura, and actually put in a guy like Dennis Scott in that starting 5, at the 3, excuse me, and then run Wade at the 2, I think that would be a perfect fit to this team because you already have that tall point guard for defense. Your bench would be okay adding Beasley to the bench, and then also like if you really even wanted to get rid of Beasley and put RJ there, that would work too. I do personally like RJ over Beasley, but Beasley does have really good animation, so I'd probably, I guess, use him instead. But other than that though, man, adding in Wade and Dennis Scott to that starting 5 I think would be perfect. It has a perfect balance of offense and defense, and you'd be kind of chilling. Obviously, this is just a solid 0. I mean, you have like no good cards. Next up, we have 2K God. He says he has 2 mil, likes running the pick and roll and fast break cheese. Really simply put, because you have 2 mil, put Ben at the 1, put Paul George at the 3, and put Lamar Odom at the 4, and I think you got one of the cheesiest teams you could possibly have. Obviously, you got Glenn Rice, so you don't even need my boy T-Mac, and you got Kobe, easily a 10. Next up, we got Oster 2K, man. Obviously, he has one of like another insane team. He already has Glenn Rice. He already has Kobe. Instantly a 10. Asking for any suggestions, man. Your team is perfectly fine. If it works with you, man, I would keep rolling with it. The only thing you really could do is upgrade from, instead of Rocco, have a guy like AK there, because all that's going to do is just give you somebody that's a little bit taller, probably get a little bit more glitchy steals. Other than that, though, your team is perfect. Next up, we do have Jay Grassy 06. His play style is like to run a lot of pick and rolls, 5 out, getting a lot of 3-point plays, stuff like that. Again, shout out to you, man. Massive respect for that Kobe grind. Your team is really good. I do like it. The only thing is, obviously, you have 300K, man. The bench, I would just look to replace Batum with a guy like Paul George or Andrea Kirilenko. Other than that, though, their team is really solid. Again, same thing as I said earlier on in the video, though. Vlade Divac, I would replace him with Boogie. Again, that's just a preference with me, though. Other than that, the team is very solid. Easily like a 9.5, I would say. Just improve the bench, and you got yourself a 10. Next up, we do have Jay 4 Lines 28. Obviously, your starting lineup is insane. I love it already. The bench, obviously, you're running a 9-man team, which is all good. I think that's a good strategy to run. Only thing is, though, I would replace John Wall with a guy like probably Draymond Green. Just have, a taller point guard that can come in, play some defense for you. Definitely clutch up there. Michael Redd is very solid. RJ is very solid as well. Dino, I do like. Only thing I would recommend, though, is if you were to run like a full bench and get Draymond for that starting 5, get Tony Kukoc, kind of run that duo off the bench. I really do like that duo. They both turn, like him and Dino, turn into very good cards. So I do recommend doing that. Other than that, though, the team is very solid. Again, if you wanted to pick up a backup 3 over RJ, I'm trying to think of or even a backup 4, honestly, because if you were to run Tony at the 3, and then you needed a backup 4, getting a guy like Eddie Curry, I think would balance that bench out perfectly. Other than that, though, if you do those upgrades with this starting 5, I think you'd easily get a 10 for this team. Next up, we got my boy Ricky over here. First thing I'm gonna say right away is, my guy, you're overthinking this, man. Your team is perfect. The starting 5 looking clean as ever. The bench, all you need to do is get Wade for that 2 position, run a lineup of Luka, Wade, Kiki, put Jonathan Isaac at that 4, and you got Wilt. Your bench is perfectly fine, man. Everything else looks really good. Like I said, just overthinking it, man. Just put Wade in that starting, or that backup 2 spot, excuse me. Your starters look clean. Your bench looks clean. You got a lot of slashers. You got a lot of shooters. Everything else looking good, though. Yeah, easily a 10. As long as you pick up a better bench and can put Wade on that team, you're easily going to get a 10 for this team as well. Next up, we got Geo86T. I'm letting you know right now, man, your starting 5, perfect. Love the way that it is. It fits your playstyle kind of well, the whole drive and kick sort of thing. Everybody's got that quick first step badge to kind of really attack the rim. Really like that. Again, shout out for that Kobe grind. The bench, all I would really recommend doing with that MT is I would sell Lonzo, I'd put Draymond at the 1, I would pick up Lamar Odom, put him at the 3, and then other than that, you're fine. Siakam, Hakeem, Jordan, all good cards you can definitely use. If you're kind of finding yourself where you need like a faster player, you could put Jonathan Isaac in over Siakam. Even Cam Reddish over Jordan a few games wouldn't be all that bad either. But again, team's looking fine, man. You got Kobe, I'm giving you a 10. Next up, we have Green Swag 27, 13 Heat playbook. Got a decent amount of MT. Right away, again, I'm looking at this team. First thing I would honestly recommend doing is getting rid of that Giannis. I know it sounds crazy, but Giannis is not nearly as good as what he used to be. So I would put a guy like Karolinko in that starting 4 spot. Off the bench, your bench is fine. The only real weakness is probably RJ and Charles Oakley. So for instead of Oakley, I would look to pick up a guy like Eddie Curry. Or you could even rock, like I said, the Dino and Tony Kukoc duo. I know a lot of people were hating on that, but believe me, it's a very solid duo. I think it's really good, especially for budget ballers and stuff like that. Outside of that, though, the team is looking pretty good. If you want a good replacement for RJ, there is a lot of good, budget 3s in this game. Even a guy like Caron Butler, though, off the bench would be pretty solid in that backup 3 spot. A guy like Paul George, maybe. Something like that. Either way, though, the team is definitely looking pretty good. I would definitely give this like a 9 out of 10. Next up, we do have Amir. He likes to run a 5-out with the Bucks playbook, takes what his opponent gives him, runs plays if necessary. Taking a look at the team, again, shout out to you for grinding out for that Kobe. Other than that, though, the team is kind of okay. All you really need to do, though, that I would say is put Mullen in that starting 5 over Jordan, only because Jordan's a little undersized to be at the 3, especially with a lot of the lineups that people do run. Same thing too, I would run Kiki over Brandon Ingram. Outside of that, though, the team is pretty good. If you can, I would sell that Jordan just for kind of extra MT, unless you want to keep them, whatever you want to do. Other than that, though, the starting lineup will be okay. Hakeem and Wilt will complement each other very well. 2 very big centers that you could run a lot of pick and rolls and a lot of 5-outs. They both can shoot the ball, both can clamp up on defense. Even Pink Diamond T-Mac off the bench is okay. Ingram, Siakam looking good. Even if you were to sell that Jordan, actually, never mind. Your bench is kind of good. Like I said, I was going to say to replace Ingram, but I forgot Kiki would be good to slide over there. Outside of that, though, team is looking pretty good. Easily a 10 in my book. Next up, we have DB the Kid. Again, likes to run a lot of, likes to do a lot of peekaboo 3s, a lot of fast break 2s and baiting and stuff like that. Again, shout out for the Kobe grind, man. I'm liking seeing a lot of you guys with this Kobe on your team. You got a lot of MT lying around though, which is good. Your team is looking very solid. So again, you like playing that bait defense, which I do like. Honestly, at this point though, if you can, I would look to upgrade that Brandon Roy to a guy like T-Mac or even a guy like Wade. Definitely better than that Brandon Roy, only because of the fact that he gets stripped very easily. Outside of that though, your starting lineup for your play style is perfect. If you wanted to get a guy like Lamar Odom over Siakam rather than replacing Brandon Roy, you can do that. But the bench is perfectly fine as well. Same thing, if you wanted to leave the starters the same, you didn't want to replace Brandon Roy, getting a guy like Paul George or Karolinko over Covington, perfect replacement there. Outside of that, though, your team looks really solid. For grinding out for Kobe, I'm going to give it a 9.5, man. Just get T-Mac and you're chilling. Shout out to this guy, man. Clippers in 4, Miami Heat 13 playbook, pick and roll when they all ball. I use the HTB play. Now it's funny because I know exactly what play he's talking about. Punch 4, flare, rip. It's just funny the way he worded it, but he's got a pretty good team here. Again, Kobe grind on point. I like it. Ben, Kobe, Worthy, Bobo, Taco Fall, all looking pretty good. Off the bench though, the only thing in this entire team that I would say to do is seriously, if you wanted to run like another duo of centers off the bench running Hakeem and Wilt, as I talked about a couple minutes ago, perfect thing to do is to run Hakeem and Wilt. They complement each other very well, especially if you like running a lot of pick and rolls and stuff like that. I feel like they would destroy off ballers that way. Only thing is though, if you didn't even want to do that, again, replace that Giannis with a guy like Karolinko. If you can somehow get Lamar Odom, those kind of guys would be a perfect replacement for that. Though other than that, the team looks pretty good. You got Kobe. I'm going to give it a 9.5. Again, just get T-Mac over Brandon Roy if you can. And again, you're perfectly fine. Well, that'll do it for this video, though. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys do want to see more of these I rate your team videos, just be sure to hit that like button. Would be greatly appreciated. If you guys, like I said, I know I missed a lot of you guys and stuff like that. A lot more people sent them in than I thought. And I don't want to make this video super long. So like I said, if you guys want to see this again, just hit that like button. Let me know if you guys want me to change anything, whatever you guys want me to do differently, or if you guys like whatever I did, just let me know down below. Would be greatly appreciated, man. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you guys did enjoy it, thumbs it up. And yeah, peace.